Azerbaijan is called the Land of Fire, one of the world's oldest oil-producing countries, with reserves under the Caspian Sea that have fueled the global energy market for over a century. But the oil money built palaces for one family. The same family has ruled Azerbaijan since 1993, father, then son, for over 30 years. Baku is a World Heritage City, medieval walled old town next to futuristic flame towers, host of Eurovision in 2012, of Formula One, and of the Climate Summit in 2024. But weeks before the Climate Summit opened, more than 18 journalists from Abzas Media, Toplum TV, and Canal 13 were arrested. The last independent newsrooms in the country were shut down. Azerbaijan was the first Muslim-majority country in the world to grant women the right to vote, back in 1918, before many Western countries. But today, gay, lesbian, and transgender Azerbaijanis are arrested in mass police raids, blackmailed, beaten, and tortured. There is no anti-discrimination law that protects them. The world has heard from Azerbaijanis who managed to escape. Mohammad Mirzali, popular opposition blogger and YouTuber, has survived more than 4 assassination attempts in France, including stabbings outside his home in Nantes. Afghan Mukhtarli, an investigative journalist, was kidnapped from Tbilisi, Georgia in 2017, smuggled across the border, jailed in Baku for 6 years, and only released to seek asylum in Germany. Today, we tell you why thousands more had to flee too. You are watching the Human Rights Expert Witness channel. We are country expert witnesses based in London. We write expert reports for immigration tribunals in the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and the European Union. For this episode, we have reviewed 10 Azerbaijani asylum cases, all anonymized. If you are looking for a country expert witness, our verified list of qualified experts is linked in the description below. Modern Azerbaijan begins in 1918 with the founding of the Azerbaijan Democratic Republic. It was the first Muslim-majority country in the world to give women the right to vote and to run for office. It lasted just 23 months before Soviet Russia invaded. For 70 years, Azerbaijan was part of the Soviet Union. In 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, Azerbaijan became independent again. Almost immediately, war broke out with Armenia over the Nagorno-Karabakh region, a territory with an ethnic Armenian majority inside Azerbaijani borders. Armenia won that first war. Azerbaijan never accepted the loss. In 1993, Heydar Aliyev, a former Soviet general and Politburo member, took power in Azerbaijan. He stayed president for 10 years. In 2003, he was succeeded by his son, Ilham Aliyev, father, then son. The same family has ruled Azerbaijan for over 30 years. Oil money paid for the dynasty. Azerbaijan sits on enormous reserves of oil and gas. The wealth built Baku into a city of glass towers and luxury hotels. It also built the largest political prison system in the post-Soviet space outside of Russia and Belarus. In 2020, Azerbaijan won the Second Karabakh War in 44 days, taking back most of the territory. In September 2023, the Azerbaijani army launched a final 24-hour military offensive. Within 2 weeks, more than 100,000 ethnic Armenians, almost the entire population of Karabakh, fled to Armenia.
We stand ready to support all those arbitrarily detained in Azerbaijan, including ethnic Armenians, must be released immediately.
In November 2024, Baku hosted the United Nations Climate Summit. Weeks before delegates arrived, the government arrested 18 more journalists. The last independent media outlets, Abzas Media, Toplum TV, Canal 13, were closed down. In February 2026, a Baku military court convicted the former leadership of Karabakh, including ex-presidents Arkady Gukashin and Bako Sahakian, in a trial that Amnesty International called nothing short of a travesty. And this is where we are today. Now we will show you who is in danger. If you are in Azerbaijan and you belong to any of these groups, you may be at risk. 1. Political opposition members, Popular Front, Musavat, Real Party, Election Monitoring and Democracy Studies Center. 2. Journalists and media workers, Abzas Media, Toplum TV, Canal 13, Maidan TV, Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty. 3. Human rights defenders, including those arrested under currency smuggling charges. 4. Gay, lesbian, and transgender Azerbaijanis, targeted by mass police raids and blackmail. 5. Bloggers and YouTubers in the diaspora, targets of transnational repression, including assassination attempts in European countries. 6. Ethnic Armenians, especially detained former Artsakh officials and ordinary residents. 7. Religious minorities, Shia, political Islam, suspects, Jehovah's Witnesses, certain Sunni groups. 8. Lezgin, Talish, and other ethnic minority activists. 9. Lawyers who defended dissidents, risk of disbarment and arrest. 10. Trade union and civil society activists. 11. Conscientious objectors and military service refusers. No civilian alternative service exists. 12. Family members of exiled critics, held as hostages, charged with proxy crimes. If you recognize yourself in this list, keep watching. And if you are in a similar situation, you can find a list of country expert reports for Azerbaijan on our website. You can use them as evidence in your asylum claim. You can also find a verified list of country expert witnesses on Azerbaijan. Link in the description. Now let us look at the 5 main reasons people flee Azerbaijan today. Azerbaijan has one of the highest political prisoner counts in the post-Soviet space. Human rights organizations document more than 300 people held for political reasons today. And this is a low estimate. The Popular Front Party, Musavat, the Real Party, and the Election Monitoring and Democracy Studies Center are systematically targeted. What makes Azerbaijan unusual and important for asylum cases is that the repression does not stop at the border. Let us tell you 3 names that became famous in international asylum cases. Mohammad Mirzali, popular opposition blogger and YouTuber, runs an Azerbaijani language YouTube channel followed by hundreds of thousands, has lived in Nantes, France since 2016. He has survived more than 4 assassination attempts, including being stabbed 16 times outside his home in March 2021. French authorities have linked the attacks to people connected to the Azerbaijani government. He continues to broadcast. Afgan Mukhtarli, investigative journalist and former political prisoner. He fled to Tbilisi, Georgia in 2015. In May 2017, he was kidnapped from a Tbilisi street, smuggled across the Georgia-Azerbaijan border, and put on trial in Baku on fabricated currency smuggling charges. He spent more than 3 years in prison. After his release, he was granted asylum in Germany, where he continues his work. Anar Mammadli, founder of the Election Monitoring and Democracy Studies Center, won the Václav Havel Human Rights Prize. Arrested in April 2024, months before the climate summit. Sentenced to 9 years in prison in 2025. In late 2023, exactly 1 year before Baku would host the climate summit, Azerbaijan began the largest crackdown on journalism in its modern history. The first wave hit Abzas Media, an investigative outlet that exposed Aliyev family offshore wealth. Director Ulvi Hasanli, editor-in-chief Sevinch Bagivgizi, and journalist Nargiz Absalamova and Elnara Gasimova were arrested on currency smuggling charges. Their devices were seized, their sources exposed. Then came Toplum TV, Canal 13, and other independent outlets. By December 2024, weeks after the climate summit ended, at least 18 journalists had been arrested. Several Maidan TV staff were detained in the same wave. In September 2025, an Azerbaijani appeals court upheld prison sentences of up to 9 years for 6 Abzas Media members and a Radio Free Europe and Radio Liberty journalist Farid Mehralizadeh. The international community called the trials unfair. Azerbaijan moved on. Azerbaijan is one of the worst countries in Europe to be gay, lesbian, or transgender. It consistently ranks at the bottom of the European Rainbow Index, below Russia, below Turkey, below every European Union member state. Homosexual sex was decriminalized in the year 2000. There is no law explicitly criminalizing same-sex relations today. The persecution does not need a law. It is built into police practice. In September 2017, Azerbaijani police conducted a mass campaign of arrests of gay, transgender, and sex worker individuals in Baku, known as the Pink Wave. Detained people described forced medical examinations, beatings, heat shaving, torture, and blackmail to extract information about other community members. What happens after arrest is usually not prosecution under the criminal code. It is informal extortion of money threats to family, public exposure on social media, denial of jobs and housing. Transgender Azerbaijanis face the worst conditions in the region. There is no recognition of legal gender change. Sex work is the main income source for many transgender women, which exposes them to repeated police violence. On the 19th of September 2023, the Azerbaijani military launched a final offensive on the unrecognized Republic of Artsakh, the Armenian name for Karabakh. The fighting lasted 24 hours. The collapse lasted 2 weeks. More than 100,000 ethnic Armenians fled to Armenia. The Armenian population of Karabakh, which had existed for over 2,000 years, was reduced to almost zero. The United Nations sent its first mission to the region in 30 years and found the territory empty.
Where more than 100,000 Armenians are grappling with severe shortages of food, energy, medicine, and other essentials.
This is the worst fighting the breakaway region has seen since a peace deal was negotiated between Armenia and Azerbaijan back in 1994.
The remaining Armenian officials, the political and military leadership of Artsakh, did not flee. They surrendered or were detained at the border. Among them were former presidents Arkady Gukasyan, Bako Sahakyan, Araik Harutyunyan, and acting president David Ishkanyan. In January 2025, the Baku military court began trial against 16 of them on charges including terrorism, mercenary activity, and the planning of an aggressive war. On the 5th of February 2026, all 16 were convicted. Amnesty International called the proceedings nothing short of a travesty. Defendants did not speak Azerbaijani, the language of the trial. Azerbaijani citizens of ethnic Armenian descent who remain inside the country today live with constant fear. So do mixed ethnicity Azerbaijani families. Military service is mandatory for all male citizens of Azerbaijan between the ages of 18 and 35. The standard term is 18 months. For young men with higher education, the term is shorter. There is no recognized right to conscientious objection. There is no civilian alternative service. Refusal carries a prison sentence of up to 2 years under the criminal code. What makes Azerbaijani military service particularly dangerous and a credible basis for asylums is what happened in 2020 and again in 2023. Tens of thousands of young men were sent into combat against Armenia. In Karabakh, hundreds did not come back. Many who did have documented severe physical and psychological injuries. Jehovah's Witnesses and other religious minorities who refuse military service on religious grounds have been prosecuted. The European Court of Human Rights has repeatedly ruled against Azerbaijan in these cases. Mixed ethnicity young men, sons of Russian Azerbaijani, Lezgin Azerbaijani or Talish Azerbaijani families face additional risks of harassment within the army and are sometimes assigned to high-casualty units in disputed areas. The numbers tell you what the courts already know. Azerbaijan is not a safe country for many of its own citizens. Azerbaijanis apply for asylum across Europe and North America. The biggest destinations: Germany, the largest European destination for Azerbaijani asylum seekers. Recognition rates 40 to 55%. Mukhtarli received asylum here. Strong precedent for journalists and political opposition. France, home of Mohammad Mirzali, and a significant Azerbaijani opposition community. Recognition rates 35 to 50%. France actively investigates transnational repression cases. United Kingdom, successful claims especially for journalists, gay and transgender applicants, and political opposition members. Recognition rates 40 to 55%, with a strong expert report. United States, active asylum docket for Azerbaijani political opposition. Recognition rates 30 to 45%, strong for gay, transgender, and journalist applicants with documented persecution. Canada, recognition rates 50 to 65%. Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board accepts well-evidenced Azerbaijani cases, gay, religious minority, and political. Other European countries, Czech Republic, Netherlands, Belgium, smaller numbers, but receive Azerbaijani asylum seekers, especially journalists and gay applicants. What these numbers tell you is simple. The people who flee Azerbaijan are not a small group, and in the courts that hear them, when the evidence is properly presented, a clear percentage of cases are recognized as having a well-founded fear of persecution. Asylum is granted when the state cannot protect you from a well-founded fear of persecution on one of 5 refugee convention grounds. For Azerbaijan, the relevant grounds are political opinion, religion, race, or ethnicity, and particular social group. Political opinion, not real or imputed, applies to opposition party members, journalists, defenders, bloggers, lawyers defending dissidents, conscientious objectors, family members of exiled critics. Religion, Shia political Islam, suspects. Jehovah's Witnesses who refuse military service. Certain Sunni groups, faith-based dissenters. Race or ethnicity, ethnic Armenians, especially detained former Artsakh officials and their families. Lesbian and Talish ethnic minority activists, particular social group, gay, lesbian, and transgender Azerbaijanis, journalists, human rights defenders, family members of exiled critics. The biggest question for an Azerbaijani asylum case is usually not the persecution, it is the question of internal relocation. Courts often ask, Azerbaijan is a country of 10 million people. Can you not just move to another city? The honest expert witness answer is, Azerbaijan is functionally a city-state. 40% of the population lives in Baku. The Aliyev government's reach is national. The expert witness cannot accept or reject the applicant's testimony. That is the court's role. The expert assesses the applicant's account against the country situation and provides a detailed conclusion on the risk of return and the risk of internal relocation. In most cases, if the claimed information is accepted by the court, internal relocation and return to Azerbaijan are unsafe for these types of persecution. And if the court accepts the applicant's evidence, asylum can be granted in most cases. This is why a personal assessment of each individual case is critically important. Azerbaijan is a country of ancient Mugham music, World Heritage carpets, the bravery of its first republic, and the genius of Garry Kasparov. It is also one of the most repressive states in the wider European space, and the wealth from oil and gas has paid for a system that hunts critics across borders. Freedom House currently rates Azerbaijan as not free, one of the lowest scores in Europe. Mohammad Mirzali broadcasts from France, still under threat. Afgan Mukhtarli rebuilds his journalism from Berlin. Abzas Media reporters serve 9-year sentences. 100,000 ethnic Armenians live in displacement in Armenia. Gay Azerbaijanis hide in plain sight. The pattern is the same: silence and prison at home, or freedom and exile abroad. If you are an Azerbaijani asylum seeker, you need a country expert report that proves your case against the country information. If you are a solicitor, you need an expert who knows the Aliyev system, the currency smuggling charge pattern, the September 2023 Karabakh offensive, and the difference between Popular Front Party and Real Party. Subscribe to the channel for the next country in our Why People Flee series. Comment below which country should we cover next. Share this video with anyone who needs it. This is what is behind the oil wealth. We'll see you in the next one.